Hello everyone, my name is Francis Yurani Polochika Kais, a foreign language undergraduate student. Below, I present my learning journeys through the following question. First question, how will you describe your current learn of English? My current learn is a solid transition from dos to B1. I feel I love working hard at the mental translation. Stank, where each award had to be processed individually. Um, Now, my level is characterized by a greater capacity for cognitive processing of meaning. That is, I can deduce the meaning of some sentence and context. Although I reconsider that I stick like the grammatical precision to read and upper intermediary level. My communication competence has ceased to be static and begun to flow more naturally. Which skill have you improved the most? My reading ability is where I have experienced the greatest growth. Reading has been a gateway to the language is has allowed me visuality grammatical structural in real words context which helps my striking my vocabulary independently. These are followed by listener compression with improved by exposing myself to native readers and intonation through digital media. This combination has been both fundamental as reading gives the structure and pronunciation necessary to understand how expand the language sound. Okay, will ski do you still need to stronger and what children have you faced? The skill that require the most effort are speaking and the reading. Uh, my nine challenging has been in the gap between uh, what I understand when reading, listen, and what I am able to producer. I have faced the barrier of the perfection, the fear of the constructing a sentence with impeccable grammar has limited me. My spontaneity, although I'll be using to like music, movies, and postcards to learn in the language. The challenge remains in transforming that passive information in into an activated and rapid response, overcoming the mental block that occurs when trying to speak. How confident do you feel when communication? My confidence is a work progress. I'll try overcome to block that prevents me from articulation sounds. I still experience insecurity in informal situations. For example, with trying to form complex sentences, I sometimes simplify mass speech to avoid mistakes. However, I analyze this not as failure, but a communication strategy. Everyday situation, I feel much more comfortably. I be learning that effective communications is based on the intention to be understand, non-grammatical perfection, every time a voice is speaking, every is if my mistakes, my confidence grow a little strong. What strategy of resource help you exploit? Is adopt a diverse approach using resource like podcast, music, and film, not merely as a recreational activity, but a strategy for language immersion. And however, the most valuable resource has been peer practicer, interacting with with people at my some proficiency level create a safe speech where the fear of what meant was significantly reduced. This collaborative learning dynamic allow use to support and other strong mutual learning, with each persons contributing their knowledge, transforming practice in a shared exercise in grow. Okay, it was qualities so teacher developed to support the learning. An effective teacher must about all possess activity listening skill and the depth, um, pedagogical empathy. Language, there are rules cannot be limited to the transition of grammatical rules. It requires a teacher who acts as facilitator and the mediator. They must create favorable conditional for the teacher context, connecting the language with the student release interests. Um, a teacher must they be available to validate mistakes valuing result of day, um, not as a negative trend, creating an environment where students feel confident and know to use the language without fear of the constant correction. What are your professional goals? My professional goal is to integrate English as across a curtain skill in my teacher. I don't aspire to be who's an English speaker. And but a professional capable of the using the language as the tool for cognitive and the cultural mediation. I plan the continue and improve it through voluntary practice, seeking of the environment where the use of English is necessary to resolve problems. We also exchange information or the collaboration with others. Continuation improved won't come from a single course, but from my ability to maintain the habit of the practice and the pursuit of the communicative challenge. Okay. Uh, what advice will you give to a student with who's starting out? Mm, my advice is there to be imperfect, and the fear of the sounding like a native speaker of the making grammatical errors in what truly prevents of the foreign learning. Often, we sticking with lack the ability, when in reality might simply lack the right motivation and the practice to understand that learning our language is a process of the Susan approximation. Perfection is the goal at the beginning. Thank you very much. See you next time.